Hi everybody, my name is Sherry. Welcome to my stamp studio. Can't believe February is so close to being over, right? It just flies by. Of course, today's my daughter and son-in-law's first anniversary, and it feels like we just did the wedding. And not only has it been a year, but it's my grandson's 2-week birthday. So I'm going to do a really fun card for you today. I think you'll like it. It is a card for anybody in your life that likes a little bit of whimsy, and we're going to make it look a little bit special. So, but it's super easy. Before I do that, I'm going to remind you that Celebration, where you get free stuff, ends the last day of February. So this one has a lot of it. It has the folder, it has this paper, it has the ribbon, it has the sequins. All of those are things that you get free every $60. So get as many things as you want. It's a great time to check your stock of cutting plates and blades and white paper, basic white, and the refills, the things that you have to get eventually if you need a new pair of snips, if you don't have the paper trimmer, if you don't have a cut and emboss machine, because then you get to add the free stuff with it as well. So the alphabet dies are gone, but I think everything else, when I checked yesterday, was still in stock. This one has the butterfly stamp set that I used on it. I used a lot of the dies. Those are back in stock. They were out, but they're back. So Celebration. Then this is the last video that I did, in case you missed it, because it has some sneak peeks of some new stuff. And it has some paper that I've heard after I posted it that a lot of you had missed that paper. So if you haven't noticed that paper and you're like, where'd you get it? It's available, so go watch the video and you can learn more about that. Then upcoming for March, as part of my tutorial bundle that I do with, well, my submission to the bundle that I do with demonstrators from around the world, you get it free with every $50 that you purchase, or you can buy the bundle for $20. So this is my card. And it's not video, that's the only thing I do that's a PDF based, but it's kind of cheating because we have a form and we just pop everything in. So still not my favorite. I still have to type fractions. I hate typing fractions. I don't know, I've always hated it and still hate it. So then also upcoming for March is, look how beautiful this is. So my girlfriend made this one. It is from one of the new online exclusives, and this will be Card Club. So all I have done with it so far is stamped the images, but I wanted you to see how beautifully they stamp. Aren't those pretty? This is full strength stamping off. I kind of messed with it. Those are all stamping off. So I am going to work with that in a little bit. If you're in Card Club, stay tuned. Because it's a new online exclusive, I will order on the first day that we can. Any of you that have already reserved your items. So that will be Card Club. And then for today, I am using the Darling Dinos. So you might wonder why I have the mixed floral suite sitting here. So I'm using the Darling Dinos. They are darling. But the paper that I'm using is from the mixed media, I think. Mixed media, there's like mixed labels and mixed floras and flora and mixed media. I think the paper is called mixed media, but it's an online exclusive. It's Card Club this month. So I'm using it. It's kind of an unexpected paper maybe with the Darling Dinos, but one of the things starting in April that I'm going to start doing is a video just for people who are current in Card Club. And then that month they will get a project where I kind of combine things from the last 2 or 3 months previous. So I like to use the flip sides of the papers because sometimes like you're done with florals or you just need something that will look like grass. And so you have to kind of be creative. So you can go watch both of those and learn about my Card Club. The last time I did Darling Dinos, I think it was one of the very first things I did from the mini catalog, which it always surprises me when I place an order because I get lots of stuff and then it comes, and in my head before it gets here I'm kind of like, I think I'm gonna work with that, and then once I get the order and I start messing or opening it, I'm like, yeah, I really want to play with that one. So he has a little bow tie. It can also be a little bow on the girl. You can put spectacles on him, you can put a top hat. I actually had another one of these, but I gave it to my son-in-law for his birthday. So this one uses the Storybook plaid paper, which is currently out of stock, but it's due back in soon. So it's going to be a completely different look. This one I watercolored, and today I'm going to use blends. So I want you to see, like I said, so you can see his top hat, his glasses, a party hat. There's lots of different footprints. So 1, 2, I think this can be speckles because there are dies to make an egg. There's dies to do hearts, which I have a card coming up using that, and it's not with the dinosaurs. There's a little bit of grass that I did have and I didn't end up using. So I wanted you to see I'm going to use this little heart. That's why it's separate on another card. So make sure you watch that because it's completely different. It's not dinosaurs at all. And it's going to kind of show you what I mean about combining things that are different. It's not all card club stuff. So for this, here's one big tip. You want to start, and it's hard this time of year. Maybe this week, maybe it's going to be in the 50s. So I'm like, maybe I'll open the windows for a nanosecond. But it's very staticky in my house. And because we're working with window sheet, I just like to put a wet wipe over it and kind of get rid of some of the static. And then I am going to work on some scrap paper, and you want it to be, where did I put it? Here we go. You want it to be clean too. So I'm going to pull a fresh piece out, and hopefully that this will stop a little bit of the static. Because our card is window based, it's window sheet, and I have cut the window sheet to be, there we go, just a standard card size. So this is a standard size card. So this is 8.5 by 5.5. I'm going to put it in here, and I'm going to score it at 4 1/4. But the window sheets, it's hard to score. So I'm going to go back and forth on this side, and I'm pressing hard. You can't bust it. I'm probably going to bust that tissue that's in there. I left the tissue in so you could kind of see it. So see where that is, and you would think it would fold. It still doesn't fold, so you pop it back over and do it on the opposite side. And there we go. Now we've cut that. I probably should have taken it off. I probably am making a dusty little mess when I just cleaned up. Pull these off before. I like to have them on because it saves fingerprints. I did have to take my other one though because I had static everywhere and I had to clean it. So here it is. And then you're going to fold this in half. It's not going to stay folded, but that's okay because we're doing a next step. Let's pull this one off. It doesn't even have to be super straight, but you want to get up here on that fold, and you can see it kind of grabs it. It just doesn't stay. So then I'm going to take the new circles, and I went over and got my paper to see what they're called. They are also an online exclusive. They'll be down underneath the video or on my website. So I'm going to lay this on here. I also got 2 new plates because it helps that there's not anything stuck on it. That was partly what I had to clean off the last time because it was card stuck, down in all the little grooves. I also have left the this on so you can see a little bit better. This is just the sheet that came between my 2 brand new sheets or brand new plates. Like I said, celebration, good time to get them because then you can work towards getting a free item. So I'm going to put this on here, lay this where I want it to be. I want it to be kind of this direction. They're not perfect circles, but they are also not, they've got like a shape to them, and I kind of want a longer shape as opposed to that at the bottom. So I'm holding it down. You can see that look at the stack. The bottom of my card is straight, so I know when I put this on here, you just want to make sure it stays on. So it's going off the top, and then it is, I'm going to make sure, yeah, I got the right one. All of a sudden, I'm like, did I even get the right one? So you can see how that's going to be the top of our card, and then this goes almost down to the bottom. Now I'm going to roll this through twice. It makes horrible, awful noise for a couple of reasons. One, it's the window sheet, and when the window sheet goes through a cut and emboss machine, it makes a big noise. But it's also because this is a brand new plate, so there's no cuts in it at all. And I just held it so it wouldn't bounce up, so it wouldn't move, and now I'm going to come back this way. The reason I'm going twice is, one, to make sure that it cut through both layers of window sheet because it's thicker than cardstock and we have 2 layers. But also, it's the cutting through here. So here's what the circle looks like if you don't cut. And there's the first cut in your cutting plate. But when you go through this, that is what's going to help our card now. Is going to stay closed. It's like magic. I'm going to leave this on here until just a second. Because, I don't want to get stuff on it. So this is all scrap. Now, these are layered, I don't know, maybe 16 different size circles. So I am going to go to, actually, I'm going to get a different one. This is the one I did on my first card, but I think it can stand to be the one closer. So let me grab that. Okay, so here's the one I did the first time because I wanted it to have more, I thought, more space. But I think on this one, I'm going to do this. So now I have the big one that made the card, and now I have this one that's going to make our card base. So here is the paper from the mixed florals. I want to get here where it has kind of some different colors. Let's do this. Trim this out. So this is going to make the faux front of our card. The whole card, as you saw, is a window sheet, but we just want it to look like there's sky up above there. So now I'm going to take some white cardstock. I'm going to put it here. I'm going to do the same thing. So just trim around this. And let's pop this back in here. Make sure these are straight, because what we're doing is making the inside of our card and the outside of our card, and because it's see-through, we want them to be exactly the same. And then run these through at the same time. This only has to go once. And now this makes the base, the front, and the inside of our card. So now let's do our stamping. But I want you to see this side because it's going to be seen. So you have two options. You could cut a second piece and put green on the inside flap, and I'll show you at the end what I mean by that. Or you can just make this match your card. So that's what I chose to do. So let's grab this. And then my white cardstock. I'm going to use, this is going to be a little bit of what kind of ink do I use, because I'm going to use Memento. Memento is what we use for blends. You can't use StazOn with blends, but you can't stamp on the window sheet with Memento. So we're going to do almost all Memento, but then when we stamp the balloon string, I'm going to switch to StazOn because I can't color in the blends. When you color, we just erase the StazOn from your design would disappear. And it's also not great for your tips because then they would have your blend tips would have black all over them. And you can see I just double mounted my I'm going to take this one off because I had the rocks on there and then I didn't end up putting them on. Make sure these are really fine lines. So just make sure you press, get it nice and inked up. So that's this, and then these all have dies. So we'll cut the 4 of these out. So let's stamp these pieces. There's a bunch of cute sayings. The last time I did roar means happy birthday in dinosaur, and they have that little gap so you can have it say something, whatever you want roar to say. There's a couple of different choices. I'm going to go with hope your birthday is dynamite. I'll just stamp that in the black. And then I'm going to do, this is Shy Shamrock. And I took the little tufts of grass. I'm just going to add those to kind of make this. Now you can see why I wanted this green piece. Just kind of fill it in because the dinosaurs are going to cover up part of it. So just make sure that they're kind of around where they need to be. And then this is the inside of the card. Now, if I was making this and it wasn't a time factor because I want to get it done on video, then I would probably add maybe the other dinosaur or some paw prints. For this one, I'm just going to add some grass to kind of pull it all together. This is a project that they will be making at my in-person camp this week. We had to move it because of baby, so it's this week instead of last. So also when they're here, it's not anything to make the card not take a zillion years is what we do. So I have this and this, and again, I'm trying to keep it from getting staticky. So I'm going to put it on another piece of scrap paper. Now let's color these guys in. So much fun to color. And remember I told you, well here, this is where I got my color inspiration, because what color do you color dinosaurs? Unless you're giving it, you know, I know some little kids are really realist when it comes to their dinosaurs. So if you have one of those, you might have to pull out the grays. But this is, so I just pulled the colors that are in this. So we have, let's start with Balmy Blue. And I did the dark kind of all around. The edges. So let me do the edges. So I did all around the edges once. Now I'm going to go back and not do all of it, but just get like right here to get that shading. So this is the dark. Let me do that. And then I'm also going to do my balloon. So let's do a little swipe of it over here. Again, this is the dark. Now let's do our light Balmy Blue. So for this, I'm going to grab the brush tip because I want it to stay light. So I have that difference of color, because there's not a whole lot of colors on the paper because I went with this, or that I'm choosing from. I almost pulled out the gray when I did the rocks, and I was like, I really want to keep it these colors. So this way, if I just kind of swipe it through here, then it starts to blend on its own. Okay, so there's this. Now what I'm going to do, you can see there's some places where it kind of just needs to blend, because that's what these do. They blend. So I'm just going to kind of tap it. So those two places where the dark and the light meet kind of just go together. That looks good because it's a cartoon. We're going for whimsy. See how nicely that bleeds and blends? So for these little scales, I need a child to tell me what these are called. I'm just wisping those through really quickly. So that is all that we need with Balmy Blue. Now I should have gotten Shy Shamrock because that's what color the paper is, I think. This is the spruce and it works fine. I have those in another bucket to film for Card Club, and so I didn't want to take them out because sometimes then I start filming and I have removed it. So this is the dark shaded spruce, and I'm going to fill in about half of his little polka dots with that, and then I'm going to come over here and do every other. This is really easier to do if you haven't cut them out first, but because of the way I was filming, I just went with it. And then I'm going to do the light. And I'm switching again to my brush tip because you tend to get less ink when you just kind of pull it through there. And I want it to have that little bit of difference between the two colors, which you can see better there than maybe on his fingernails or claws and his toenails. So there's our little dinosaur guy. I'm going to grab this, swish these through. And then I have Petal Pink and Flirty Flamingo to be my last colors. So I'm going to do dark, and I'm going to do the every other thing again on her and on the flower. Okay, and so I've done that, and then I'm going to just take these little wisps here, and I'm going to use this for a shading because the Petal Pink is pretty light. It also has an orange tinge to it, so it goes nicely with the flamingo, which also has a bit of an orange tinge. So this will be my highlight color. And then let's grab the center of our flower. Let's switch to the light. And then let's do our dark petal pink. So I'm going to do the top of her head in dark petal pink, and then I'm going to switch to her body and her face in the light. And I really want those places where I added that flamingo to blend in. And I squeak when I color with my blends. It doesn't matter if they're brand new or old. Sometimes people are like, you need to get new blends. This one is nice and juicy. I just push kind of hard. Only on the bullet tip. You don't need to push hard on the brush tip. Because part of the reason we use the brush tip is to get lighter color and not have to worry that we're getting too much at a time. So I'm going to do the same thing. This time I'm going to leave quite a lot of white in the middle. Actually, I'm going to do brush. I can't remember what I did the first time. Okay. Now we just have to stick all this together. I do want to show you, hang on. I really wanted to try to find a way to put ribbon on this card. It just didn't work, but look how this couldn't be any more perfect. And these are, this is Strawberry Slush, which is a returning color. And I don't remember, this may be a new color as well, because this is a new online exclusive. But it kind of ruined the effect of what I was trying to do if I added ribbon to it. So I'm going to leave that there just so you can kind of see it a little bit better. What you want to do, you need to think about your adhesive because obviously you're going to see through parts of it. So I am just going to use steel and I'm going to be very intentional where I put it. So and this is the back of our card and I am going to put it right here in a nice straight line. So if you do see it, it's not all jaggedy and everywhere because that's plenty to hold it. Just put it down close to the bottom, make sure the line is straight-ish. It's going to get covered up. So now we have that. I'm going to do the same thing, intentional. The nice thing about this background is that it kind of hides the adhesive. It's harder to see. So that now you want to make sure your card's closed. And this just goes right over the top. Now you have someplace to sign. Look, that's how staticky it is in here. Oh, it's kind of annoying. So here you go. And you can take your bone folder. I'm not going to because I don't want to introduce any more static at the moment. But my other one has started to stay. The other thing is that it stands up really nicely like this. So whoever you give it to, if it's not pressed all the way down, can do that. So now I need to grab my Stays On ink and the string to my balloon. Now this card would be super cute if it had 2 balloons or 2 flowers. Again, it was kind of a time factor when I was doing it, both for me and for camp. So I'm just going to add this. You want to be careful because window sheet's slippery, so it could move, but the memento on that would not dry. Especially in the summer when it's humid, it may stand a chance as dry as the air is right now, but I wouldn't want to chance it. So just have that and Stays On. Now I'm going to grab some dimensionals. And I'm just going to put the dimensionals. I don't think that they would go over the top. I also like that you can see through this because let me show you the inside of the card. But if you put it up here, there's a chance it could go over the top of your grass. So just put it down at the bottom. I have ink all over my hands. This is the first card I filled today. That's always good. So put her down here. And then let's do our flower and our balloon. And again, I'm just going to do adhesive on the whole thing. That way, when you look on the other side, it will just all look the same. Make sure they stay on the card, but I want him to kind of go to the top. Then if you feel like you need to add any more grass, I might add one just where the balloon is so it doesn't look like it's on its own, and then maybe one right in the middle. The first time I did it and I, whoops, put my pieces on, they all disappeared, and I was like, well, I have no grass left. Which happens sometimes. You feel like you got a nice large spot of something. There we go. It's a little bit more full. Then I tried to make the brass butterflies work, but I didn't want them gold because I didn't want gold on the card. So I tried to color them. I think they would probably color black with the Sharpie, but whatever the finish is on that brass does not work well with that. So then I went, these are celebrations, so you can still get them through the end of February, and the white ones are perfect. It just adds a little bit of party flair. So let's do 5 of these because they're free. 5, 7, minimum 5 embellishments in my world. 7 or 9 is also a nice option. 3 there. These have a little bit of that pink and a little bit of the green, so they match nicely. And it just looks like some party confetti. So here is a much more, he's more distinguished, I guess. And then these guys are just ready to party. So here it is. This was with the bigger circle, and it does look better. But look how much fun it is inside. Because you can kind of see when the blend soaks through, it really matches that paper nicely. It looks kind of like you intended for it to be that. Here it is with the smaller green. Now, I will also tell you, I'm going to put this down so it doesn't get dirty. I thought it might be fun to put some green around the edges with my blend to kind of tie that in. You don't need to when your paper is bigger. Also, it's kind of messy and it doesn't come off. I could probably take some alcohol wipes or something and get it off, but I was like, yeah, I don't like that. So you can do it if you like. I don't think you need to, but look how fun the inside of that card is. And this one, you see how I kind of got a little too high with my dimensional, so keep them low. It also, because this piece is smaller, I didn't have as much that I was working with. So I hope you enjoy this. I guess I'll do this because you know my Instagram shot. If you ever want to see me color anything fully, head to my Instagram a couple days after the video. It can be up to a couple of weeks. But I fast forward in there so you can see the actual coloring that I have. We'll edit out of this video so it doesn't take so long, but there you can see. And you can, this one has, I made it a couple of hours ago, and just with time, it's starting to press down. So they will eventually press down. So I hope you like that. It's a fun little whimsical card for your Monday. Have a great one. Bye.